Hello guys, welcome back to Haymanager, and before the season starts, I thought I'd bring you my fantasy Premier League team, just so you can see what I'm basically going to be rolling with for the first few game weeks. We all know that the wildcard comes into effect around about game week 8, somewhere around there, that you can, I feel I should use it anyway, because then you get another one obviously in game week 19, but after game week 8 you can sort of see the patterns of what's going on, see the players that I've got into form, know how to sort of build a team around a very, very good few players. So I've got my team on the screen. I was going to do like a very nicely edited sort of thing, but I thought I'd just get it out to you very quickly because I want to try and get this video out there. So in the two goalkeeper positions, I've got Dean Henderson and Mr. Alphonse Areola. You can see him here. He's not been selected by that many people, and I think after Fabianski's season last season, he had a pretty good year last year. I think it's time for Areola to come in. He's a top-class goalkeeper. We've seen him, one of the outstanding players for Fulham last year. He is there on loan. Fabianski played a lot of minutes, but as you can see here, he wasn't really the first choice keeper in the 1920 season. I think he was just about in there. I think he picked up a bit of an injury, but he's getting on now, Fabianski, and they've had to bring in someone different who they can obviously rely on a bit more. He's going to be a bit more of a easy player to put into the side, find his form, and we've seen how much quality can be with PSG. So obviously that's a brilliant signing for him. And then Dean Henderson, it's going to be a battle, I think, for this number one goalkeeper spot. De Gea's looked solid so far this year, but Dean Henderson still has that number one spot. So for me, obviously if Henderson doesn't play, Areola comes in. If Areola doesn't play, Henderson comes in. If neither of them play, I've made two very bad picks there, but I think those two are secure. I don't think I'm going to move from them for the entirety of the season. I might bring in Meslier if Leeds prove they can defend this year, rather than conceding 50 goals. But that's my back two goalkeepers. My back five then are Tierney, Ayling, Alexander-Arnold, Shaw and Cresswell. I've gone for as many wing-backs as I can. I'm not reliant on many centre-backs. As you can see here, the top defenders are obviously top four defenders are wing-backs. Then you got a centre-back, then you got another three wing-backs. So I was going to go for Matty Target, but I don't really want to put a Villa defender in just yet. I want to see how secure this Villa defence is going to be, because if we look at Buendia, they've got some good games coming up, but are they going to be secure enough? That's my question. I don't know how they're going to line up. I don't know if they're going to go with the three at the back. Now they've got Tuanzebe, Ezri Konsa and Mings. Are they going to go with four at the back and then play Target and maybe Ashley Young or, Matty Cash? But those first three games are very nice, but then we have an awful run in there of 6 games on Wolves, so I don't think are going to just be an easy shoe-in, let's put it that way. Tierney for me, I think he's a nice little player. I think he plays very, very well. He got 8 clean sheets last year. Arsenal looked very, very good at the back last year. They've added Ben White, who was a decent pick, but Tierney for me just gets forward a bit more of a hunger going forward. Luke Ayling's in there because he played every minute last year, didn't get any goals or assists, but for $4.5 million, you can't really argue with it. And I think all the other Leeds defenders, they are 4.5. Oh, Firpo's 5. I was going to put Firpo in, but he's obviously 5. He's been playing pretty well pre-season. But yeah, Ayling's in there because Leeds have they have a very difficult start, as you can see. Obviously, game week 3 is a nice one as well. But then have a nice run in there from game week 5 onwards. So game week 5 might be my wildcard week. I don't know yet. But that's the reasoning for putting them in. And Liverpool have a very kind start to the year. So I've put in Trent Alexander-Arnold. After his injury, I think he's going to come back. He's going to rebound bigger than ever. And if he can keep the clean sheets, he can get the assists. It's going to be a nice season for Trent Alexander-Arnold again. $7.5 million is a pricey defender, but I'm taking the risk on him. I think he's going to do well this year. 31.3% is not that many in correlation to how many people have picked Luke Shaw. 53.5%. $5.5 million. Picked up a lot of assists. We've seen his efficiency going forwards grown twofold, threefold over the last few years. As you can see here, he is going to be a domineering type of player in this Manchester United defence who look like they're going to keep a lot of clean sheets, as to why I've got 2 United defenders, a goalkeeper and a defender. Then we look at Cresswell. Cresswell, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the league. Takes beautiful free kicks. He is basically Luca Digne, but English in a sense. He got 11 assists last year, 11 clean sheets. They can keep the clean sheets up with this new signing. They've got Milinkovic, who've come in obviously now, I believe. I think Cresswell's set for another great season. I can't see why they'd drop him. He's experienced. He's great going back as well as going forward. He picks up a lot of bonus points. I think Cresswell's a nice little shout, and as well as that, we've seen West Ham. West Ham have a very nice first few games. Leicester's going to be a difficult one at home, but I think West Ham can try and keep a lot of clean sheets this year. I like their lineup. I think it looks healthy. But yeah, a nice little start to the season for West Ham as well. Then we go into the midfielders. So I've got obviously Buendia, Mane, Harrison, Fernandes, and Benrahma. We'll go to Buendia first. Buendia is basically the idyllic replacement for Jack Grealish. He is going to get many goals, many assists. He's going to be brilliant for feeding Danny Ings. I think Aston Villa have reinvested this money very, very well. Then we go into Mane. Mane's only been selected by 4.2% of people, and I couldn't resist it. He scored loads of goals pre-season, 11 goals, 11 assists. He picks up a goal every other game near enough. Goals and assists, 22 in 38 games. 2/3 of the games he's going to get a goal or an assist. I think he's a shoo-in for my picks. I don't know why you'd pick, if we look at it here now, I don't know why you'd pick Salah when 50% of the league have him. He's 0.5 more. Obviously, he picks up a lot more goals, as we've seen here, that 32-goal season, but Salah seems to not be declining, but finding his worth here. 231 points compared to the 176. I just think Mane's got something to prove this year, and he's a lot more consistent going into this year. So yeah, for me, Mane, it's got to be. I hope it pays off. If not, you're going to see Mane probably disappear. I'm going to bring in someone like, what's his name now from Leicester, Barnes. I'll probably bring in Barnes, and then I can redistribute the money elsewhere. Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison picked up 8 goals, 10 assists, 160 points last year. Leeds have a difficult start to the season, I've already said it. Great start from game week 5. Only 5.4% of people have picked him. I think he's a nice little pick. Harrison, I'm a big fan of Harrison. Really big fan of Harrison. Think going forward he's sublime. Plays a lot of the games. Leeds are going to do very well again this year. And Harrison, for me, is a shoo-in. He's definitely... Look at that. 21 out of 523 on the ICT index. He's an important player to this Leeds side. Arguably better than Rafinha as well, but we've got to see what he's like in his second season in the league. Then I've got Fernandes. I think he's an obvious choice, 47.8%. You can't miss out on some of these stats here. 18 goals, 14 assists, 32 goal contributions, 38 games, near enough. It's just that he's got a difficult start. I mean, the nice start, Leeds, Southampton, Wolves, Newcastle, all teams that are looking to be a bit hindered and haven't really invested much this year. Then you look at West Ham being a difficult game, Villa probably a difficult game, and then Everton's an easy game, I think. And then you've just got a very harsh part of the year here, where you're looking at, I'll probably play my first wild card. I mean, it's either going to be the 5th or the 13th you're going to be looking at there. And then from the 15th onward, a beautiful run of games for Manchester United. So that's why Fernandes is in there. Then West Ham have replaced Lingard with an pre-existing player, Said Benrahma. Pre-season, he has been proving why he was brought in from Brentford. Unreal sort of player. Really, really good. 6 assists, 1 goal last year in only 1,300 minutes. This year, he's going to be starting every single game unless he gets injured. 3.8% of people have picked him. I think people are sleeping on how great a player Benrahma is. He's going to do well for West Ham. They've got a nice start of the season, basically. And I think he's going to be probably pivotal to whether or not West Ham get into those European spots again. But they've strengthened well, West Ham, and I can see them doing very, very well, especially Benrahma, who looks to be filling in Lingard's shoes very nicely. Then we go to the front three. Obviously, because we've gone big in the midfield, because you want to try and get as many points as you can, I've gone for a hindered front three. Watkins, Tony, and Zhao Pedro. Watkins, my first choice here. I really like Watkins. 14 goals, 9 assists in his first season. I think that might just be like swapped around. I think you're going to be looking at 9 goals, 14 assists for Watkins, purely because he's going to be playing on that left wing now. That's the thing. He's going to be playing on the left wing, Ings up front, Buendia in behind, Bailey on the right. I think Watkins is a nice little pick. 6 on the ICT index, proven he's a brilliant striker, proven he's a goal scorer, proven he can assist as well. I just like the way he plays. Reminds me a lot of Rashford. So yeah, Watkins is in there for me. Then even Tony, 30% of the league have picked him. I mean, he's got quite a nice start to the season, but then it's a bit here or there with how you pick him. I think you're looking at probably putting him in for maybe the Aston Villa game, perhaps the Wolves game. I mean, it's where you put him in, I don't know, but I think he'll collectively pick up around about 12, 13 goals naturally. So for me, 6.5 million is nothing, and he can just sit on the pitch if I need him to, and hopefully he picks up a few goals, much like Pucky did in his first season in the Premier League. Then Zhao Pedro. Zhao Pedro, he's a very young player from Watford. He played a lot of games last year for them. He plays at that left wing spot, come striker role. Zhao Pedro's going to start every game. I think he starts every game, and he's only 5.5 million. So for me, he can just sit there really nicely, and that's Zhao Pedro for you. Very cheap pickup. So for me, this is how I'm running my opening game of the season. I think Henderson will start against Leeds, Cresswell, Shaw and Alexander-Arnold at the back, Ben Rama, Buendia, Mane and Fernandes. Fernandes captain against Leeds. He had a great game. When I went and watched him play against Everton, Manchester United, he had a great game. Then Tony, Zhao Pedro and Watkins obviously on the bench. Tierney, Ayling and Harrison, who knows, if Zhao Pedro doesn't play, Tierney comes in. If Tony doesn't play, Tierney comes in. Ayling comes in for either Tony or Zhao Pedro, and then I'm hoping if Henderson doesn't play, Areola's obviously going to start against Newcastle. So that is my team. Let me know down below who you think I'm missing out on, if there's going to be any good picks to get in there, if I've missed out anyone of good value, but I've made a few changes. I'm going to make a few changes here and there, obviously going forward. Let me know if you think I've done well as that. Let me know who you've got in your team. I want to know who's in your team. So if you've liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you in the next episode. From me, Alex, have a great day. Ciao.